Well, good afternoon. My name is April Brown. I'm with Zelken Financial Services, LLC, and I'm here today on a podcast talking to Charlie
Hey,
Jewett.
hey.
So, for those of you that don't know, Charlie Jewett is the gentleman that I have had the pleasure of working with and learning from. He is the owner and the founder of Renovating Retirement, and he's an amazing person, and I'm learning so much. And so I asked him to be on with me today to talk to you. And so I want to just kind of bounce it over to him so he can talk a little more about himself. And then I'm going to ask him a question, and we're going to get a lot of information and education.
Yeah, and I very rarely get tired of talking, so thanks for the opportunity. I love this. So I can introduce myself and tell everybody who I am.
Yes.
So my name is Charlie Jewett. I used to do mortgages and real estate and other companies and things in the early 2000s, and watched a family member retire. And then in the 2001, she had to go back to work for 13 years, and it always bothered me. I just thought, well, how does a retirement plan fail? It doesn't make any sense. You win the game, you got enough money. What happened? Right? What happened? Obviously,
Yeah.
there was a risk, some sort of a risk, and I discovered the risk was the person left her all basically in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. That you can't really plan on anything with this squirrely market. You don't know what it's going to do. Might be good. Vegas might be good too. You don't know what's going to happen. It might be bad. And as it turned out, from 2000 to 2010 was really bad. It was what we call the lost decade. But when I got in 2005, somebody had shown me some really amazing strategies where you'd never lose money in the down years, and in the up years, you get a really healthy portion, just no risk investing, without the loss. I fell in love with that. I thought it was interesting to me. Like, at least I'm kind of contrarian. I like to know the other side of the story. I studied to be a naturopathic doctor instead of allopathic.
Wow.
I like truth-based contrarianism, like go against the grain when the grain is wrong. Don't be traditional.
Right.
Traditional people are making mistakes. So I started in the business as a rookie, and then by my 11th year, 2016, I was talking to a business coach. I'm like, this is a dark, horrible industry. Everybody lies. They're all liars, right? And he said, why don't you start a podcast? I'm like, I don't even know what a podcast is. And he's like, you like talking? I'm like, I like talking. He said, you can talk to yourself all day long. You have a podcast. No one even needs to be there. You can talk when you're alone. Like, come on, preach. So I started this show in 2016, edgy show, the Renovating Retirement podcast, and built this cult following. Like, it's not for everybody, but the people that like hard-hitting truth with some goofy comedic sauce on top of it, it worked for me. And I've made my living doing retirement plans and coaching other advisors, amazing people like you, and building a team and putting out educational materials for consumers of different categories. Today we'll talk about a certain type of person, and just pouring my heart out, saying, really, the show is like a big giant, I love you. You're another human being. I love you. You deserve to see clearly and have accurate information instead of a salesperson.
Right. I've watched your podcast, and I've listened to it while I've been walking because I'm trying to get my exercise in. So the information has been like, what in the hell?
Right? I should advertise my podcast like that. You'll make money and lose weight. Put it on while you're walking.
Exactly. So the question I want to ask you, Charlie, is this. So just a little background. I am a single person. And being single is not to say that I'm not going to ever get married, but honey, it ain't on the horizon right now. I don't see nothing happening. It's just like, woo, it's like, woo. Mm-hmm. However, as a single person, one of the things that's been coming to my mind is, what would a person need to do to save for retirement? What are 3 things that you would tell a single person and say, hey, look, you're single, whatever else you got going on, this is the thing that you need to do in order to save for retirement. What does that look like? I just want three things.
All right, I'll limit myself. So 3 only. This is not going to surprise you. My first piece of advice, the first of the 3 things, is do not follow traditional advice. Do not follow what they tell you traditionally, what most people are doing, the common thing. And there used to be campaigns from a company that was called ING, and now they're called Voya, and they manage money and have some insurance products and stuff, but their whole pushback then was like, what's your number? What's your number? And like, how much do you need to have saved up? You're in the rat race and you're being the rat and you're running on the wheel. Like, how long do I got to run on this wheel? Right. And like, so you got $2 million, run, right?
Right.
And it's the wrong number, because retirement's not about your nest egg, I understand why they say that, but retirement's really not about your nest egg because there's 4 phases of retirement planning: contribution, accumulation like growth, distribution, taking the money out when you quit your job, and transfer. And that distribution phase is everything. Retirement's actually about that when you don't have an income and you need an income. Here's the problem with looking at the number. How much should I save? All the different options for distribution. Do I leave it in the market and take it out? Do I buy an annuity and get guaranteed income? Do I put it into an indexed annuity without guaranteed income and take income as I want? Do I take income from the growth account in the good years and then the down years leave it alone and take from the safe account? Do I put it in the bank? Do I have rentals? All of those pay a different percentage. So you can't say, is $1 million enough? You got to go, with the distribution method I choose to use, is $1 million enough, or how much do I need? So we need to have a bit of a conversation about distribution options. You as a listener, as a watcher or a listener, and this is part of the essence of me and of my show and my books, you deserve to see your options, not have them hidden from you. The most popular companies that you would know about on TV, they all sell mutual funds. They all say, if you gamble, you gamble. If you pay us a fee to gamble your money in a market we don't have control of,
right,
good luck. We get paid, but they got a lot of money, and they advertise their bigness. We got 10,000 offices and $1 trillion under management. We hurt a lot of people. You should come here because we hurt your neighbors too. We're very popular. The way we hurt's been very popular with other people, right? And I'm joking, right? But it's very amateur financial planning. It's like technology from 50 years ago.
Okay.
To say, put your money in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and spread it around, and let's just hope for the best. Let's hope.
I mean, well, when I was retiring, before I retired, one of the things that I would always be told is, you're young. If you lose money, it'll come back. Just leave it in the market. It'll grow back. And then when I got close to retirement, I was like, oh, hell no. I can't afford my money to take a hit. Yeah. I'm not young anymore. I've got a limited amount of time. So, what am I thinking about, or what should I be thinking about? But yes, you're right about the big number and the nest egg. And that's all you keep hearing. Nest egg, nest egg.
No, don't give me nest egg. Give me eggs from the golden goose. Tell me how many eggs I'm going to get. Yes, you know what I mean? Because there's 3 basic payout percentages. The market pays, they say you can take about 3% of it. Annuities and life annuities, income annuities might be 5 or 6%. If you set up tax-free retirement planning, it might be 10% of your account. So I want, just to make up easy numbers, I want $100,000 forever.
Right.
Or we need $1 million in this one that pays 10% out. We only need $1 million. What about the one that pays 5%? You got to have $2 million. What about the one that only pays 3%? Or let's call it 3.3. You got to have $3 million. Well, which one am I? You got to talk a little bit about what your beliefs on taxes. Do you want guaranteed income or maybe income? Really hard question, right? Like, maybe. Would you like to run out of income at 80 and work at Walmart? Not really. Let's go with guarantee, right? It's actually really easy. This industry is very, very easy for honest fiduciary advisors who have everything to fix someone's problems. The hard part is that they've just been used to stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, and they've got advertising in every corner telling them the market makes 8 to 10%, and none of it means a thing. It's the lowest income you could possibly get. So number one for me certainly is make a little adjustment. Don't follow the traditional path. Don't say, how much do I need to save up first? Not first. Say, how am I going to take my money in retirement? Is it going to be taxable or tax-free? Going to be guaranteed or non-guaranteed? And because think about this. You fix 2 little things. We'll talk about it in a minute. You get 5 to 10% payout instead of 3. And when you make your contributions, someone else puts in 2 times or 3 times as much as you do, and they match you to 2 or 3 times. So you got 3 times as much going in and 2 or 3 times as much coming out. Work for 20 years instead of 50, and you'll be okay. So that's number 1. Focus on income.
Got it.
Number 2. Oh, I love this. This is my passion. It's like my juice. More. You got to earn a real rate of return. You got to earn a real compound interest. Whoever said it, who was it? Said compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. It's not capital gains is the 8th wonder of the world. It's not funny money math. Mathematical mean. Market goes up, market goes down, market goes up, market goes down. Let's divide them. Add them up and divide them is the 8th wonder of the world. Listen to me real close. $100,000 goes down 50%, you got $50,000 left.
Right.
That tiny little 50 grand goes up 50%. You only make $25,000. You got $75,000. You went 100 down to 50, up to 75. All us intelligent folks like your listeners, all of us go, you're down 25%, fool, right? You lost money, right? That's what's real.
Right.
And in the industry, pretty much every single place, it's legally allowed, pretty much every single place is allowed to ignore that math, real math, you're down 25%, and use fifth grade math, which is called the mathematical mean, like your average weight for the last 20 years or whatever. They can say you went down 50% 1 year, up 50% the next year. That's 2 years. Negative 50 plus positive 50 is 0 divided by 2 years. You're averaging 0.
Right.
I'm down 25%, but no, don't pay attention to that. Look at the paper. You're averaging 0. Keep your money here. Let me charge you fees and go play golf, right? When they say you're making 8 to 10% over the long run, they're using the faulty math. And we can look at the market. I can show you. You can show them. Market goes down 2 years and takes 5 to get back up. Market goes down 1 year, takes 4 to get back up. You can't be taking 5, 6, 7 year breaks off a compound interest and call it the eighth wonder of the world. When you let your money go down and then up, it's not compound interest. It's capital gains. It's another kind of growth. It's like, well, where'd I end up? We'll tell you when you get there. When can I retire? I'll tell you when you're done. That's not planned, right?
Right.
The gambling with your time, gambling with your money. What fixes that? We've had it now for 30 years or more. What fixes that is don't let your money go backwards. People don't know. They don't know you have the option to be in the market, all the losses, all the ups, or you can be in the market with none of the losses and most of the ups. Guess what? The safer version's been earning more money than the risky version now for 23 years. Hallelujah. Let it go. It's going. So the market doesn't perform like it used to. We got an average over 23 years of 6.25%, not 10, 11, 14. So real rate of return. You got to really compound that money.
Okay.
Or the math doesn't work because you're trying to say, how much should I put away? How many times should I go to Starbucks? How many trips can I take? We're all looking at the budget.
Right.
Discipline is hard, Right. Choose your pain. It's 2 types of suffering. Discipline and regret, right? Discipline is the suffering you put on yourself. When I get on that treadmill out there, that's suffering, bro. I don't like it. I don't want to be on here moving. I'll be sitting over there eating potato chips, right? Watching the same TV show without the sitting, without the potato chips. At least I have the TV, right?
Right.
I'm suffering through discipline, little suffering. So I have a heart attack or look like a fat, ugly guy and nobody ever wants to keep it, Who's my girlfriend, whatever, right? That's right. Same thing with saving money. Hey, I just got $5,000. I want to spend it all, right? Why do I only spend 4? And I put 1,000 away for later because it's a bit of discipline. But how do you know? How could you do the math? It's actually impossible. But how could you do the math? If I save 1,000 a month and I earn this rate of return, I end up with this much money and my distribution decision, here's how much income. How could you solve for income or how much to save if the math doesn't work? If it's funny math,
right?
Got to be real math. So you got to know your income number and you got to be using investments that have a real rate of return, a compound interest. Either they just straight guarantee it, buy it, and you get 5.6%. It's got to be guaranteed or it's got to have an average. It doesn't go below 0. That you're either making 0 or more, all positive numbers. And over this time frame, the average has been about 7, because that you can know. You know, if it doesn't go below 0, you can know how much money you're going to end up with, therefore how much income. So that's number 1. And number 2, know your income number and earn a real rate of return. And number 3, how important is this? Especially for a single person. Listen, you get punished if you're not married in this country. The IRS comes along and says, what's wrong with you? You can't get a date? What's wrong with you? Give me some of your money. Give me your money. You haven't been able to find a spouse in how many years? Pay me.
Well, I feel like Uncle Sam is trying to date me.
It's rude. Oh, you're not spending money taking somebody out? You can give it to us. Uncle Sam's right. Hey, sugar mama.
I don't get a date. He just takes my money and I don't even get a date out of it.
Nothing. You get nothing. You don't get a kiss. You don't get flowers. You just pay. You just pay for nothing. It's the right to be seen. It's like the what do they call it? The marriage penalty or the single tax, right? But it's true. Like a married couple making $250 pays less tax than a single person making $250. If you're a single person and self-employed, you're going to get killed. If you're a single person law enforcement officer is going to have a pension, you're going to get murdered on your taxes. If you do a good job on your pension, you do a good job on your pension, and you also have other pre-tax like 401ks and IRAs, you're going to get crushed, which we can show you, right? And it's on purpose. But the way the tax code works is they tell you, here's all the rules. If you don't want to pay us, here's all the rules. Just do it like this and you don't got to pay us. Mm-hmm. And for everybody that ignores those rules, most people, the IRS goes, all right, Davey, we told you. This was the arrangement. If you ignore the rules, you pay us like crazy. That's the arrangement. Right? And they even tax your Social Security, for heaven's sakes. They go right. That too. Tax the pension, tax the IRA, and that triggers tax on the Social Security. So here's the important thing, especially for single. You do the litmus test. You ask yourself these two questions. If you're working with April, you ask April these two questions. Or she'll ask you, do you think, yourself, do you think taxes are going to go down? Like just going to plummet? You know, the IRS is going to go, we don't need money anymore. We don't have any money for Social Security. We don't have any money for Medicare, but we don't need any more money. You think taxes are just going to plummet from now until the day you die? Because that includes all your retirement from when you start to you're done, right? Not the day you retire. The day you retire until the day you die is the important part. What happens with taxes? You think taxes are going to plummet and go down and be cheaper than you ever seen in your life? Or do you think taxes might go up between now and when you die as the IRS tries to cover their commitments to Social Security and Medicare?
Yep.
For people, which is the majority, and by the way, you're not alone. If you as just a regular person says, I think taxes are going up, most of the experts are saying that too. They're saying we're in the lowest tax bracket you're ever going to see in your life. If you're someone who thinks taxes are going to go up, then you ask the second question. Do I want the same lifestyle or better? You know, would I like to live this same lifestyle in retirement? Or is my plan, to live in a tent on the corner or to eat only ramen? Are you planning on poverty? You know what I mean? If you're planning on the same lifestyle, same tax bracket, you think taxes are going to be higher, some really interesting things happen. I've been doing this 19 years now, and we start to see some faces. People make these faces like they're having a seizure. You know, what? Say, why are you putting money in 401ks and IRAs? Postponing taxes until later, when your account will be gigantic, taxes will be high. You got this little amount you're putting in, and you think taxes are low, and you're trying to save what's your number? You're trying to get to 2 million when it's really big, and take out big chunks, 100,000 a year when taxes are really high. If you think taxes most likely will go up, you as an investor may want to learn the other options. How do you pay tax today on the little contribution?
Right.
Get over with. Don't let the IRS, you're married. You're married to the, sorry, single person. You're married. You're financially married to this horrible spouse called the IRS, and they're getting a part of the pension. You can't divorce them on that one.
No.
If you don't do it right, they're getting a part of the Social Security check. You can fix that one. What's the control? What's the switch to this one? You can't divorce them on the pension.
Right.
Divorce them on the Social Security income, so you keep it all. Your control switch is what do you do with 401ks, 403bs, TSPs, and IRAs? Right. What do you do with what's called a qualified plan, where they tell you you can either postpone taxes till later and then pay us, or you can pay it now and then never pay us again. And if you thought about it and said, well, what's the tax going to be later? They go, we'll tell you then. We'll look at our budget. Let's not even talk about that right now. How much interest am I going to pay you back for this loan? Don't worry about it. Interest is overrated. Don't even worry about it. We'll deal with it when we see how rich you are.
Right.
No, sir. Today I know my taxes. Today I know my income. Today I know the contribution. Today I know what you're going to take from me. And the top experts in this country say, if you can pay anything under 24% and down, pay it. Pay it to get rid of the IRS and not be married to them on your IRAs and 401ks. So the long and short of what I'm saying is, if you're putting money into IRAs and 401ks and postponing it until later, they want to learn the alternatives to that. The alternatives to people say, no, take it in your paycheck, pay the tax today when it's a contribution small, put that contribution somewhere where you are never taxed. We have three choices. In this country, there's three options. Where can I put after-tax dollars and never pay tax again for the rest of my life? And you want to know those three options. April can teach you. and pick the one you love the most. There's one that shines. The one's kind of horrible, one's okay, depending on what you do, and the other one's like, rah! We've had it since the late 70s, and people don't understand it are like junkies. We freak out over it, right?
Yes.
By the way, that's the one that has the almost 10% payout, where you save the least amount of your money, and you get the highest income, and it's tax-free. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we like that one.
We like that. Very much so. I have it.
You have it.
That's
right?
how much I like it.
Everybody's doing it. Let's get some peer pressure going here on these listeners.
So we're going to finish this thing up. So there are 3 things that I asked Charlie about in reference to what you need to save as a single person for retirement. The first, he said, know what your income is. Know what you want for an income. So know what you want your money to be distributed as. Do you want 10,000? You want 5,000? You want to live off of 21,000? What do you want to live off of?
Yep.
1. 2, the rate of return, not funny money, the rate of return, the real deal. 2 + 2 = 4 people, not 5. 2 + 2 = 4. So the rate of return. And the last piece is taxes, the third one. If we know taxes are going up, what does that mean? How do I plan for taxes? And how am I, what's the plan and what does it look like? And so those are the 3 points, and those are the 3 suggestions, really.
Basic
ones, right. They're really the basic.
If you're our client, we're going to teach you the other ones. We're going to teach you the advanced strategy. How do you use arbitrage and retire 5 years early because you use mortgage planning? Right. How do you find a bank that says, if you put in $10,000 a year or $20,000 a year, we'll put another $20,000 a year in, and then when you stop, we'll keep paying it. How do you use leverage and have someone else build your retirement for you so you retire another 5 or 10 years early? I mean, anybody with us can retire with an extra 30, 40, 50% income or retire 5, 10, 15 years earlier. Mm-hmm. As long as you're not addicted to the stock market and closed-minded. Like, those horses with them blinders on, where the horse don't look at things. That's what your money manager wants you to do. No. Just mutual funds. Focus. Just look at the mutual funds. We got 40 years of technology. 40 years of technology making things better. Learn it.
All right. Thank you so much, Charlie Jewett. Once again, my name is April Brown. I'm with Zelken Financial Services, LLC, and thank you for listening. Have a great day. Until the next time.